based on a true story. January 7th, 1943. Hotel New Yorker. A maid ignores the "Do Not Disturb" sign and finds an old man's body. In room 3327, there is no gold, no heirs, not even a spare suit. Only endless stacks of mysterious blueprints. We are used to seeing him in textbooks as the dry Lord of Lightning and the official father of alternating current. But who was this man during the long hours when his coils went silent? The one who feared pearls to the point of panic. He spoke to birds for hours and saw the world through the prism of perfect, yet terrifying, digital codes. Today we strip away the glossy layer of the official biography to look into the shadows of a mind on the edge. Early morning. The sound of heavy boots stepping on dry leaves echoes in the empty and hollow silence of the city. The long hem of Tesla's black coat barely touches the sidewalk. He's not just walking, he's performing a ritual. The first lap around the massive hotel building. His eyes are fixed on the brickwork, ignoring the few passers-by. His lips move slightly, keeping an internal count that cannot be interrupted for even a single second. The wind stirs his thin, aristocratic fingers, but he does not hide them. The first lap is finally complete. He does not go inside. The second lap begins. The air around him seems to vibrate with intense mental pressure. This is not a walk. It is a mathematical prayer. Every step is measured. Every corner turn is like a gear in a machine. The world for him is a strict rhythm that demands absolute sacrifice. If he breaks it, his entire day will collapse. He feels the roughness of the stone and the cold morning mist, but his mind is only busy closing the cycle. This is a necessary condition for his existence in a space that feels far too chaotic and wrong to him.
If you only knew the magnificence of the 3, 6, and 9, you would have a key to the entire universe.
He completes the third and final lap. Now his movements become smoother, almost like a calculated ballet. Only then does he touch the heavy bronze door handle. The cold of the metal instantly transfers to his skin. In the lobby, he heads to the desk. He will not take just any key. He needs a room number divisible by 3. This is the safety law of his mind. The clerk hands over a key with a copper tag. Tesla stares at the numbers. He runs his thumb over the metal, feeling every notch. His shoulders finally relax. The order is maintained. He climbs the stairs, and the sound of his footsteps rhythmically echoes his internal metronome. Every floor and every flight of stairs is a step in his private temple of symmetry. He's back in his groove. A mathematical ritual more important than food. Tesla never entered a building without walking around it 3 times. He lived in a world where numbers did not just count. They ruled reality, building the invisible frame of his life. In the bathroom, the water roars loudly, crashing against the cold porcelain. Tesla scrubs his palms with a brush. His skin is already red and nearly bleeding, but he does not stop. The sharp smell of chlorine fills the air. He sees what is hidden from ordinary eyes. For him, every surface is a field of an endless microscopic battle. A drop of water on the tap looks like a nightmare, filled with thousands of monstrous crawling shadows. He once looked through a microscope and never knew peace again. Every object in this world is covered in bacteria. He takes a new towel, always fresh and crisp. He rubs his hand so long it feels like he is removing his own skin. He wants to cleanse himself from the filth of the world. He hears the squeak of purity and finally closes his eyes. But the primal fear of infection returns to him with every new breath and every single touch.
Microbes never lie. People do, all the time. To me, a handshake is a pact to trade millions of killers.
An evening gala for the high society. Tesla stands in the center of the hall, flawless in his tuxedo, yet tense. A wealthy patron reaches out a hand. This moment feels like a direct threat and a source of deadly infection. He takes a subtle step back, his face freezing into a polite but icy mask. Instead of a gesture, he bows deeply. He keeps his hands firmly behind his back. His eyes dart around, spotting a fly on a glass or a speck of dust. He picks up a glass of wine using a thin silk handkerchief, but he never brings it to his parched lips. His attention is fixed on a drop of condensation. In it, he sees the biological imperfection of humanity. After seeing life in a drop of water, Tesla locked himself in a sterile fortress. He never shook hands with kings. He drank nothing that had not passed through fire, turning cleanliness into his most painful and strict cult. The restaurant is filled with the clinking of crystal and voices, but at Tesla's table, it is very different. A bowl of soup sits before him, steam rising, but he does not reach for the spoon. He pulls out a notebook. His eyes turn into high-precision scanners. He measures the angle of the plate and the radius of the cup. He begins to painfully calculate the exact volume of every piece of bread. He writes down the numbers. To him, this is not food. It is a complex geometric object that must be defined before it enters his body. The sound of his pencil scratching the paper drowns out the violins. The smell of spices means nothing to him. The volume must strictly fit his calculation table. Otherwise, he simply will not touch the meal.
I cannot swallow what I have not calculated. Food without numbers is chaos, and I do not eat chaos.
Finally, the calculations are done. He carefully pushes 2 pieces of bread aside with his fingertips. They are extra. They break his perfect formula for the evening. Only then does he take the heavy silver spoon. His movements are mechanical. He brings the spoon to his lips, but pauses at the last second to check the volume. His meal is like a sapper working in a minefield. Every sip is a confirmation of his internal theorem. Others look at him as if he were a dangerous madman, but he does not see them. He is inside a digital matrix where taste is completely secondary, and the true meaning lies only in the perfection of mathematical proportions. Dinner as an engineering task. Tesla refused to eat if his brain did not provide a digital report on the plate. In this strange ritual lay his main fear: the loss of control over matter that must always be logical. Deep night. Manhattan is dark, but blue ghost lights dance in the windows of Tesla's secret laboratory. A low hum vibrates through the floor and rattles the glass. He has been at the controls for 48 hours. His face is gaunt, with heavy shadows under his eyes, but his gaze remains terrifyingly sharp and focused. Sweat glitters on his forehead, unnoticed. Every movement of his hands is a dance with dangerous energy. He feels no fatigue. He has entered a state of trance. Time has slowed down, and laws have become tangible. A sharp crackle of discharges fills the room. The smell of ozone is thick. He hears music in the hum of coils.
Sleep is merely a bad habit. 2 hours a day is enough for the mind to create entire new worlds.
It is the 80th hour of continuous work. The assistants have long gone home, unable to keep this pace. Tesla picks up a thin copper wire. His fingers move with the precision of an automaton. A blueprint runs in his mind. He sees the parts spinning and the current flowing. He does not draw on paper. He builds right in the air. A massive discharge lights up the lab, turning his figure into a dark shadow against the blinding glow. For a moment, it seems he has become part of the circuit. He closes his eyes to see the finished machine. He called it a trance. Tesla could work for days on end, losing track of day and night in search of the truth. He believed that sleep was only a troublesome theft of time from his great discoveries and infinite eternity. A white linen napkin in Tesla's long, thin fingers. He is furiously polishing a silver spoon. The distorted reflection of his face stares back from the metal. A perfect stack sits on the table. The characteristic squeak of clean metal on fabric is heard. He holds the spoon to the lamp, looking for spots. He immediately puts the napkin aside and takes a new one. He acts methodically. 1, 2, 3. Each napkin is used only once, then it becomes a useless piece of cloth. The air smells of fresh starch. There is a hidden anxiety in the room that he tries to suppress with this repetitive, rhythmic ritual.
Cleanliness is the only luxury I can afford. And there must be exactly 18 napkins.
Preparing to eat takes him more time than the meal itself. He lays out the utensils in a perfect line. The last napkin is folded into a triangle and placed strictly on the left. He checks the symmetry. His face relaxes for a split second. The chaos is defeated. He sits up straight and slowly squares his shoulders. This whole performance is his way of creating a sterile island in a world that feels filthy and illogical. He looks at the shining silver reflecting the room's light and finally takes his first calm, deep breath. Exactly 18 napkins, a multiple of 3. This was not a whim. It was the only way to order reality. Without this flawless shine of silver, the world for Tesla lost its structure and its mathematical meaning. Twilight. In room 3327, dust swirls slowly in the dim light. Stacks of unpaid bills lie on the dresser. Yellowed blueprints sit nearby. A glass of milk on the table is covered by a thin film of passing time. The heavy smell of old paper and ozone fills the air. The cooing of pigeons is the only kind sound left. Tesla sits in a deep chair, his body weightless under an old blanket. His fingers tremble slightly. He sorts through letters he never opened. He looks out the window at the millions of city lights. This city is built entirely on his ideas. He seems like a ghost in the center of his own massive triumph.
I am alone, but the stars are my companions. They speak a language that requires no translation. I am just going home.
Tesla slowly reaches out to the cold windowsill. His favorite white pigeon is sitting there. He looks at her. There is a tenderness in his eyes he never showed to humans. His fingers pause a millimeter from her feathers. The light in the room grows dimmer until only a thin beam remains on his high, noble forehead. Suddenly, the dove flaps her wings and flies into the sky. Tesla remains absolutely still in the silence. The hum of the city seems loud, but here, in room 3327, total peace arrives. It is the perfect silence. The search of his entire life is over. The end of a grand and strange experiment. The current has stopped. He died in total solitude, leaving behind only debts and the technology that would change this planet forever. The man who tamed lightning left as quietly as an old light bulb flickering out in an empty room. Tesla believed the universe had a numerical code, and he nearly cracked it. These were his safety protocols. He left us in a world of electricity, but took the secret of resonance and the great rhythm with him. Looking at his empty room, which still smells of ozone and old paper, you realize the most important thing. Genius is not about taking. It is about burning out, turning your life into a blinding discharge of energy, so that others might forever forget the fear of the dark. The story has gone beyond the frame. It still vibrates.